Today we're gonna take a look at the Kiwi ears KE4. Thank you so much, Paul Wasabi, for sending these over so I could try it out. I'm not sure who sent this, probably Linsol sent it to him. I listened to this over a weekend for the past few weeks, and what do I think about this? They're currently priced around 199 USD or like $200. Accessory wise, it's like KZ. I mean, not like KZ quality, but it's just bare minimum accessories. The cable also, I know that they've used this cable many times with their previous products. I don't really like how the cable quality is. It's tangly. I do like the ear tips though, the new ear tips with like holes in it. It's like a filter or something. They're soft. Fit wise, very comfortable. Nothing really to complain about. And I like the minimalistic design of the KE4. It's pretty comfortable in my ears. But yeah, these fall in my like $121 to $250 category, and it's a bloodbath here. A lot of IMs are great sounding in this price range and probably even cheaper. But yeah, if you want to know how I score IMs, check my video right here how I score them. So it's hard to say that this is a review because I know that I'm biased with my preferences, so I think it's safe for me to call it like a user experience because I use my own library. I also don't like being too objective because I'm reviewing it using my library, so it's a little bit personal. And with my scoring, I score it based on how I feel. You know, like I can't lie to how I feel. I can't say I love it and meh, you know, like it's just meh for me. So take that in mind. Again, this is my user experience. It's the meta tuning, okay? So let's see how the meta tuning. So tuning wise though, this is the graph here, there. Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's try to understand. So basically the meta tuning is more of like, it's a bass tilt. So think about like maybe the critical target before. Tilt it, which one? Clockwise, wherein the bass goes up. And so when you do that, you shift the peak to around from maybe 2.5K to 3K, and then you also have a fuller mids and, you know, like more bass response. So basically that's I think the JM1 tuning. The Hexa is also like that. Yeah, for the tonality of the KE4 though, they're clean sounding, a little bit warm because of that full bass there. You see that rise around 400 to 500. It makes, yeah, the males, and it's a little bit forward. It's a warm sounding IM. Nothing to complain about really. You get a good tuck there around 200 hertz, good sub bass extension. But overall, the tonality, it's maybe 2.5 for me. I like it, but it's not something that I love because of the treble, and I'm gonna talk about that later. Bass response is also fine. They're good, again, because they're warm sounding, so it's good for male vocals, hip-hop tracks, maybe sometimes even, no, probably a bit slow. Because I feel like the bass lingers a little bit longer than my preference. It's not as tight as I wanted them to be. Bass for me, it's fine. There's enough texture. It's not something that it's average for me. Definitely something that I like. It's because it's clean. It doesn't smear the mids. So yeah, for the bass, it's 2.5. Going on to the mids. Mids again, let's see how, because I don't script my videos, but I do take notes because I forget. So mids for me, yeah, they're natural sounding, especially for males. Female vocals though, they're a bit, I don't know, maybe because of the treble. So the treble, it has something to do with the upper treble and the shift of the peak. So since they don't really have that elevation there around 1.5 to 2K, maybe it's just this tuning here, but I feel like it's not really, I mean, the female vocals don't sound as lively as I would like them to be, but otherwise they're still natural sounding. It's definitely good. Like, I can't really complain about it. It's not something that I don't like, but yeah, for the mids, giving it maybe 2.5. They sound natural, they sound fine. Now the treble here, straight off the bat, I don't like it. It's definitely 1.5. Why? I was listening to The Worst by Polyphia, and maybe around 2-minute mark, you hear those cymbals in the background, it's not as defined. So probably the clarity on the KE4s, it's underwhelming for its price. I mean, a lot of IEMs in that price range, like the Nova, which is cheaper, and the Magic one, it's definitely cheaper, and even like in the budget area, some of the treble, they're well defined, full bodied. I just don't feel it with the KE4, and I'm thinking it's because of this tilt here and a combination. You see that peak there? It's maybe around, yeah, I don't know, 13K to 15K. You can't really hear that peak because of the overall tilt, because look at that, the bass is higher than the tilt, so it's kind of like maybe masked, so you don't really hear it. But if you listen closely, they're actually rough sounding. They're not as smooth as I would want them to be. It's not dark sounding. That combination of roughness but kind of like muted in a way is it's a very bad combination, because in the first place you don't really get the clarity you want, and at the same time, if you listen to it, they're actually, the quality of the cymbals is actually a little bit underwhelming for me. So treble is 1.5. Technicalities, they're fine. Imaging is fine. Nothing, they're not congested in a way. It's not something that I like and I don't like, so maybe I'm just giving it a 2. How much is this? 2.5, 7.5, 9 plus 2, 11. 11 is probably, it's B. I mean, it's generally good. You can safely buy them if it matches your preference. That's my definition of a B. But then again, it's the only thing that I can complain about this is probably the treble. It's actually really safely tuned treble relative to the bass response. Yeah, just for me, like, I just thought that there are other sets that has better quality when it comes to treble. Yeah, it's B for me, and those are based from my feelings on if I really like them, if I love them, something like that. I can't lie to myself and give it a 3 if I don't really love how it sounds. But the good thing is, yeah, you don't really get a lot of fatigue in here. You're gonna like it. Probably, but it's not a technical monster. So especially at 199 USD, there are many IEMs right there that's, you know, that's really good. And comparing it here, what can I compare it to though? Like, let's see, maybe the Nova. It's cheaper. There, you can see there, the Nova in the mids, it's a little bit, you can already see how thick the KE4 sounds. The Nova is just smoother overall. But yeah, if you like a thicker note weight, thicker bass, thicker mids, then probably pick the KE4. If you want good clarity, then maybe the Nova. And I can't think of any though. Like, because most of the IEMs here, it's like I really like, maybe the High Senior. Let's see, High Senior. Mega 5P. Yeah, it's also not comparable. It's difficult to compare the meta tuning recently because there's really not a lot of them. But the Hexa, it's been here for like, I don't know, maybe almost 2 years. And look at the Hexa right there. It's pretty much kind of like the meta tuning, but smoother though. I think it's well executed, and the Hexa is pretty cheap. It's like almost half the price of the KE4. I'd pick the Hexa over the KE4 for me. But if you like thicker bass, then maybe pick the KE4. But overall, just, you know, like my ranking is always based on its price range, and the Hexa falls like one tier under, which gives it really good value. As I've mentioned, like the 121 to 250 price category, it's a battleground there. There's a lot of IEMs to choose from, but still, it depends on your preferences. I would still advise to audition the KE4 if you have the chance, and if you've heard the KE4, give me a comment down below if we share the same experiences, if we share the same thoughts. It's not really something that I hate, but definitely it's not something that wows me. Probably that's the good point of this, because it's really inoffensive and you can't really fault it much. But then it takes a hit of the overall clarity. It feels like you're paying, I don't know, maybe you can price this 100 USD or under that, but $199. There's S12 2024s, there's like better clarity sounding IEMs. Again, I'm not saying that this is bad, and probably just because of how it's priced. Again, this is just my opinion. It may be different for you, but with the IEMs that I've heard, 200 for this sound is a little bit, maybe it's okay. It's up to you. I mean, I'm very frugal with my purchases, and you know, if you're frugal as well, if you like the meta tuning, the JM1 tuning, maybe, and if, I don't know, KE4 Kiwi ears, the meta.